My dear brothers and sisters, happiness is not something that simply happens to us. It is something we must reach for, nurture, and protect. Every day, life will give you reasons to give up, to be tired, to lose your smile. The world will whisper that you're not enough, that joy is for others, that peace is too far away. But happiness is not found in the noise around you. It is built within you. It is a choice, a discipline, a quiet act of courage to rise each morning and say, today, I will not let the world steal my light. When you push yourself to be happy, you are not pretending that everything is perfect. You are simply choosing to look beyond the storm, to see the mercy in the moment, and to remember that every breath is a gift. True happiness comes when your heart learns to be grateful, even when life is not easy, when your soul finds peace, even when the world feels heavy. So, my dear ones, don't wait for happiness to arrive. Push yourself toward it every day, in every small act, in every quiet moment of faith and gratitude. There are days when the heart feels heavy, when even the smallest step forward feels like a mountain. When happiness seems like something far away, a place other people live but you can't quite reach. Yet, what if I told you that happiness isn't a destination, it's a decision? It's not something you stumble upon. It's something you create, bit by bit, through the choices you make and the way you speak to your own soul. Every morning when you wake up, you are given a blank page. The world may try to write on it for you, with its noise, its worries, and its expectations, but you hold the pen. You have the quiet, powerful ability to choose how your heart will respond. That is what it means to push yourself to be happy. It means choosing gratitude when your mind wants to complain, choosing presence when your thoughts want to wander to the past, choosing light even when you are surrounded by shadows. Happiness is not pretending everything is perfect. It's learning to see the small graces that remain even when life feels imperfect. It's looking at what you do have and whispering, this is enough for today. It's forgiving yourself for the moments you've fallen short, for the times you compared yourself, for the mistakes you've carried too long. True happiness begins when you stop chasing an image of who you think you should be and begin embracing who you already are. Every breath is a chance to begin again, to renew your heart, to clean the dust off your spirit, to remember that peace is not somewhere out there. It's something that grows quietly within you when you stop running. Sometimes pushing yourself to be happy means getting out of bed when your heart feels heavy and still saying thank you for another day. It means smiling not because everything is okay, but because you've decided that hope will live here, inside your chest, even when life hasn't gone your way. It means talking to your soul gently, feeding it kindness instead of criticism, teaching it that it deserves joy even on the days it's been bruised. This kind of happiness doesn't come from possessions or achievements, but from a deep contentment, a calm trust that no matter how uncertain life is, you are guided, you are loved, you are being shaped by something greater than the pain. Pushing yourself to be happy every day isn't about forcing positivity, it's about nurturing perspective. It's about training your eyes to see blessings in disguise, to find lessons in waiting, to recognize that even your struggles are sculpting something beautiful inside of you. When you wake up tomorrow and you feel the weight of the world again, whisper to your heart, we will not give up today. Then take one small step toward light. Maybe it's stepping outside and feeling the wind. Maybe it's writing something kind to yourself. Maybe it's praying, even if your voice trembles. Because these small acts of faith, these tiny moments of choosing happiness over despair, are what rebuild the soul. And when you do this often enough, you begin to see that happiness is not something you have to chase. It begins to live inside you. It becomes the way you move through life, with a heart that refuses to be hardened, a mind that refuses to be consumed by negativity, and a spirit that refuses to stop believing in tomorrow. Gratitude is not just an emotion, it is a way of seeing the world. It is the quiet practice of choosing to notice what remains instead of what is missing. It's the discipline of the heart that whispers, even this moment carries something sacred. We often wait for big miracles to feel grateful, for life to finally align with our plans, for our prayers to unfold exactly the way we imagined. But gratitude is not about waiting. It's about waking up to what already is. It's realizing that every breath you take is a miracle you've been given for free, that every sunrise is a reminder that you are still here, that despite all that has broken you, you are still capable of love, of hope, of trying again. Gratitude is what transforms ordinary days into something extraordinary. It turns the meal you have into a feast, the house you live in into a home, the little time you share with someone into a memory that warms the soul. When you learn to live with gratitude, you stop being a prisoner of comparison. You no longer measure your worth against what others have or what you lack, because your eyes are fixed on the blessings already surrounding you. Gratitude teaches you that happiness doesn't come from having more. It comes from seeing more. Seeing the hidden kindness of life, the small mercies that often go unnoticed, the way that even after storms, there's still sunlight that peeks through. When your heart is full of gratitude, even pain begins to change shape. You begin to understand that every difficulty carries a hidden lesson. Every closed door is protection. Every detour is guidance. Gratitude softens the heart. It makes you less bitter, less restless, less afraid. It roots you in the present, reminding you that this moment, right here, right now, is enough. Even if it's not perfect, even if it's uncertain, it's a gift you can grow from. Gratitude doesn't mean denying your pain. It means acknowledging it without letting it consume you. It means saying, yes, this hurts, but I am still breathing. I am still learning. I am still surrounded by grace. So often we tell ourselves that happiness will come when something changes, when the job arrives, when the person stays, when the dream finally works out. But gratitude breaks that illusion. It invites you to find contentment not after the blessing, but within the journey toward it. It allows you to celebrate the process, not just the destination. Because when you can be thankful even while waiting, you've already found peace. The waiting becomes lighter, the heart becomes freer, and you begin to realize that happiness isn't postponed, it's practiced. Every morning before you reach for your phone, before the noise of the world fills your mind, pause for a moment. Think of 3 small things that you can thank life for. It might be your breath, your ability to see another sunrise, or even just the fact that you made it through yesterday. This simple act shifts your perspective. It reminds you that no matter how many storms you've walked through, there's still something worth holding on to. Gratitude doesn't remove your struggles, but it strengthens your spirit so you can rise above them. There's something deeply healing about saying thank you even when life hasn't gone your way. It's an act of faith, a declaration that you trust that there's still goodness in the world. Gratitude turns what we have into enough, and enough into abundance. It transforms the heart from restless to peaceful, from bitter to hopeful. It opens a space inside you for joy to return, for light to enter, for perspective to grow. Because when you are grateful, you can't be consumed by what's missing. You are too busy celebrating what remains. Push yourself to practice gratitude even when it feels unnatural. Push yourself to whisper thank you even when you don't see the full picture yet. Because every time you do, you are training your soul to see beauty where others see emptiness, to find meaning in the moments that feel mundane, to carry light even in the midst of darkness. Gratitude won't always change your circumstances, but it will always change you. It will make you softer yet stronger, humble yet powerful, aware yet peaceful. And when your heart learns to live in that space of constant appreciation, happiness will no longer be something you search for. It will become the way you breathe, the way you move, the way you exist. Healing begins the moment you stop waiting for the world to make you happy. So many of us spend our days waiting for something or someone to fix us, to complete us, to fill the emptiness we feel inside. We tell ourselves, when I get that job, I'll be happy. When that person loves me back, I'll feel whole. When life finally calms down, I'll find peace. But the truth is, waiting for happiness to come from outside of you will only keep you empty. The world was never meant to be the source of your joy. It can only reflect what's already inside. Real healing begins when you turn inward, when you stop chasing and start nurturing, when you realize that happiness is not found in what you have, but in who you become through it all. You cannot depend on others to carry your peace. People can love you deeply and still disappoint you. Circumstances can align perfectly and still change overnight. The world is too fragile a foundation to build your joy upon. Healing begins when you stop giving the world the power to define your worth, your value, your peace. It begins when you choose to reclaim that power, when you start speaking life into your own heart instead of waiting for someone else to. Because every time you wait for someone to make you happy, you give them the keys to your emotions, and every time they walk away, they take your peace with them. But when you find your joy from within, no one can take it away. Healing is not an overnight transformation. It's a daily surrender. It's waking up and deciding that you will not let your past dictate your present, that you will not let pain become your identity. It's learning to sit with yourself in silence and listen to what your heart needs. Sometimes it needs rest, sometimes forgiveness, sometimes patience. And you have to give yourself permission to feel, to cry, to rebuild slowly. Because healing is not about pretending you are okay. It's about allowing yourself to become okay at your own pace. We often think healing will come when life becomes perfect, but perfection is not where healing lives. Healing lives in acceptance. It lives in the moments when you look at your scars and say, these are proof that I've survived. It lives in the decisions to stop comparing, to stop wishing your story looked like someone else's, to stop believing that your happiness depends on something outside your control. When you stop waiting for the world to make you happy, you start realizing that happiness is something you cultivate. It grows in quiet moments of self-respect, of prayer, of peace, of knowing that you are already enough. There's a kind of freedom that comes when you no longer rely on external validation. When you stop needing applause to feel proud or approval to feel worthy, you begin to live from a deeper place. You begin to understand that happiness is not something you receive. It's something you build with your thoughts, your focus, your faith. Healing comes when you learn to choose yourself, not out of selfishness, but out of sacred responsibility. When you finally understand that it's okay to outgrow certain versions of yourself, to release what doesn't nourish your soul anymore, to say no without guilt and yes without fear. And slowly, without even realizing it, you begin to glow differently. You begin to smile for no reason because your peace is no longer dependent on things going your way. You begin to carry yourself with a quiet strength because you've learned that happiness is not the absence of problems, but the presence of purpose. You begin to move through life with calm confidence because you finally understood that everything you need to be at peace is already within you. Healing is about coming home to your heart, to your creator, to the quiet truth that your worth has never been tied to the chaos around you. It's realizing that the world may never be steady, but your soul can be. The moment you stop waiting for others to make you happy is the moment you start truly living. Because when happiness comes from within, when it's rooted in faith, gratitude, and self-compassion, it can weather any storm. The winds may blow, the seasons may change, but your heart will remain steady, anchored not in circumstance, but in truth. So stop waiting for the world to give you permission to smile. Stop waiting for someone to choose you before you choose yourself. Stop waiting for everything to be perfect before you allow yourself to feel joy. You were not created to be at the mercy of the world's mood. You were created to carry light within it. And when you finally understand that, you'll realize that healing and happiness were never out there. They were always waiting quietly inside you, asking only for your attention, your love, your belief. Peace begins to grow when you finally learn to let go of what you cannot control. There comes a time in every soul's journey when holding on becomes heavier than releasing, when the constant struggle to fix everything begins to drain the very joy you're trying to preserve, We often carry the weight of things that were never ours to carry. People's opinions, unchangeable pasts, unpredictable futures. We replay what went wrong. We worry about what might go wrong. And in between those two fears, we forget how to live right now. Letting go doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough about your own peace to stop giving your power away to what you cannot change. It means accepting that some chapters will close without explanation. Some hearts will walk away without closure, and some answers will only come with time. When you let go, you make space for serenity. You begin to understand that control is often an illusion, that no matter how tightly you try to grip life, it will always unfold according to a higher plan. And there's a strange, beautiful peace that comes with surrendering to that truth. Because once you stop trying to micromanage the universe, you realize how much lighter you feel. You stop forcing what's not meant for you. You stop chasing what was never yours to keep. You stop trying to rewrite stories that have already served their purpose. And in that stillness, something shifts inside you. You begin to breathe deeper, think clearer, and trust more fully. So much of our suffering comes not from the events themselves, but from our resistance to them. We cling to control because we fear uncertainty, but peace only enters when we learn to trust that uncertainty can still be sacred. Letting go is not giving up, it's giving in to divine timing. It's saying, I don't have to understand everything to find peace in it. It's finding rest in the middle of unanswered prayers, knowing that sometimes the delay is protection, sometimes the silence is preparation. Letting go means you stop trying to fix people who are not ready to be healed. It means you release the need to prove your worth to those who refuse to see it. It means you stop allowing your joy to depend on someone else's response. There is immense power in stepping back and saying, this is not mine to control. Because when you do, you take your energy back. You begin to pour it into what is yours, your growth, your attitude, your inner calm. You start focusing on what you can shape, your thoughts, your reactions, your faith. Peace grows when you stop fighting every storm and start learning how to stand still within it. When you stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? You begin to transform pain into wisdom. You begin to see that every loss carries a hidden gift. Every ending carries a seed for a new beginning. You learn that sometimes the most courageous act is not to fight harder, but to let go gracefully. To walk away from what no longer aligns with your soul, to release the need for closure from people who have already shown you who they are. And as you release, your heart begins to heal. You start noticing the quiet beauty of the present, the way the sun still rises, the way your breath still flows, the way peace can still find you in the middle of uncertainty. You stop needing life to be perfect before you feel at ease. You stop demanding answers before you can rest. Because peace is not found when everything goes your way. It's found when you stop needing it to. There's something deeply sacred about trusting the process, about believing that even the things that hurt you are shaping you into someone stronger, softer, wiser. When you let go of control, you invite grace to take over. And grace always knows how to carry you where force never could. It teaches you to flow instead of fight, to trust instead of fear, to live instead of merely survive. So breathe. Loosen your grip on what you can't change. Let the world spin without needing to understand every turn. The same power that holds the stars in place is holding your life together too. When you surrender what's beyond you, you make room for peace to dwell within you. And in that surrender, you'll discover something you never could through control, a quiet strength, a calm spirit, and a heart at rest. Because peace doesn't come from having everything figured out. It comes from knowing that even when you don't, you are still being guided, protected, and loved through it all. Joy is not hidden in the grand moments. It lives quietly in the smallest acts of mindfulness. It's in the stillness of the morning before the world wakes up, in the warmth of sunlight touching your skin, in the sound of laughter that fills a room, or the quiet comfort of your own company. We often miss joy because we are too busy looking for it in big achievements or distant destinations. We think joy will come when we finally arrive somewhere, when life gets easier, when dreams come true, when the pain disappears. But true joy is not found in the then, it is discovered in the now. It grows wherever gratitude and awareness meet. When you slow down enough to notice the details, the breath that enters and leaves your lungs, the taste of your food, the way the wind moves through the trees, you begin to realize that joy has been surrounding you all along. The problem is not the absence of joy, it's our absence from the present. We rush through our days chasing what's next, thinking happiness lives in the future. But joy doesn't wait there. It waits here, in this breath, in this heartbeat, in this small moment of awareness that whispers, this is enough. Mindfulness is the art of coming home to yourself. It teaches you to listen to your inner world, to be fully alive in the present rather than imprisoned by the past or anxious about the future. It reminds you that life is not happening somewhere else. It's happening right now, in this second, in this breath. When you practice mindfulness, you stop allowing your thoughts to drag you into worry or regret. Instead, you anchor yourself in what's real, the sensations, the emotions, the sacredness of now, and in doing so, you begin to uncover joy in the simplest of things. There's a deep beauty in learning to be present even in the ordinary. When you wash your hands, feel the water and be thankful for its coolness. When you walk outside, look at the sky and notice its endless shades of color. When you speak with someone, really listen, not to respond, but to connect. Every small moment can become a doorway to joy if you're truly there to witness it. Joy isn't something you have to chase. It's something you awaken to when you become fully alive to the life that's already unfolding around you. Mindfulness also teaches you to find joy even in the midst of struggle, because when you are present, you realize that pain doesn't last forever. It moves, it shifts, it teaches. And even in those moments of discomfort, there are small mercies, a kind word, a moment of rest, a deep breath that reminds you you're still here. When you focus on those small mercies, you train your heart to see light in darkness, purpose in pain, calm in chaos. That's where joy grows, not from escaping your challenges, but from being fully awake to what they're shaping within you. True joy is not loud or showy. It's quiet, steady, rooted. It's the peace that fills you when you stop needing everything to make sense. It's the smile that rises unforced, the laughter that comes without reason, the deep breath that says, I am grateful to be alive. Mindfulness allows you to receive life rather than rush through it, to appreciate rather than overlook, to dwell in gratitude rather than dissatisfaction. And when you start living that way, every moment becomes a miracle. So often we believe joy is something we must earn, but joy was never meant to be earned. It was meant to be noticed. It's already woven into the fabric of your daily life, waiting for you to slow down enough to see it. The quiet mornings, the sincere conversations, the songs that stir your soul, the moments when you help someone without expecting anything in return, these are all sacred glimpses of joy. You don't have to go searching for it across oceans. It's sitting softly beside you every single day. And perhaps that's what joy truly is, an awakening. A realization that the very life you've been rushing through is the same one you've been praying for. That happiness isn't a distant dream. It's hidden in the rhythm of your breath, in the beating of your heart, in the love you give and receive. When you practice mindfulness, you begin to see how much beauty there is in simply being alive. So slow down. Feel the weight of this moment. Let your eyes see, your heart feel, your soul breathe. The present moment is not just a passing second. It is a gift. And when you learn to open it fully, you will find that joy was never lost. It was only waiting for your attention, waiting for your stillness, waiting for you to finally come home to yourself.